feel like there's not going to be enough moisture at all that can come from this to give me what I need with this situation that I got going on. I like popped a blood vessel in my lip. Of course, I'd be the person to do that, but so yeah, if you're wondering what is going on with that, I popped a blood vessel or something. I was scrubbing my lips last night with my lip scrubber, and I guess I went a little too rough, so I popped a blood vessel. So I'm kind of trying to keep it moisturized. So if you see me glossing through this live, it's because I'm trying to keep it moisturized. I'm not trying to thirst trap or anything, I promise. Because it's not painful, but it's definitely like, you know how when you get like a burn or you get a scratch or something, and so like it's past the point of burning, it's no longer burning, but it's like bumpy and you can feel it. That's what it is. And I know I'm gonna keep bothering it, and I'll start biting it, because I started biting it this morning, and that's the reason why it's red. And so I'll keep biting it until the skin is gone, and I don't want to do that. So we are going to be glossing up this live for sure, to make sure that it stays moisturized so I don't start biting it. But today we're going to be talking about overcoming challenges, and we're going to be understanding or talking about, so that we can understand the whole like diet culture versus understanding why we need to go plant-based. Because we do a lot of talk about like diet culture is a thing, and we should be doing diets, because if you want to be healthy, you have to do a certain diet. You need to do keto, you need to do paleo, you need to be on Weight Watchers, you have to do a diet in order for you to lose weight. But we don't realize that, one, that's not true, and two, we don't understand what diet culture is doing to our body. If you understand what diet culture is doing to your body, then you'll realize that they're teaching you to put yourself in fight or flight mode. If you are doing diet culture and you do that every other month, you do that for, you know, a couple of months on the end, you do it once a year, whatever. During that time that you are not living your normal lifestyle of eating your however many calories you eat, and going back and forth between, oh, I'm having no bread, I'm not having no dairy, but then I'll go back in a couple of weeks, or I won't do this again in a year, until a year later, you have to understand that you're putting your body in fight or flight mode. Your body is sitting there saying, we don't do this normally. And so what do I do with this? Your body says, I can't handle this. And so now it goes in a panic mode. If you're calorie restricting and calorie counting, your body holds on to more, because it's trying to focus on, are we starving? Are we going through scarcity of the food? What is going on? So yes, in the beginning, you might lose weight, but think about when you go back and you go back to the lifestyle that you had before. Now your body is sitting there saying, okay, she's going to do this to me again. We're going to go down to 2,000 less calories a day when we usually eat 3. We usually eat 2,500. So now your body is saying, well, I'm going to hold on to that excess bread. I'm going to hold on to that dairy, and I'm going to keep it and store it for the next time that we go down to 1,500, 2,000 calories, and I'm not used to that. So then my body has something to feed off of. So this is the reason why you see when people do diet culture, especially, and they do these Weight Watchers and Jenny Craig's and all these different things, how eventually they sit there and they lose the weight. They get off of it. They might, you know, stay a couple of weeks in the same stable level, but then by a month, they're back up to what they were. They were back up to what they were before the diet, if not worse off. And so when you see that and you realize the fact that they are either worse off or they've gained all the weight back, so they just wasted their time, it's like you have to reflect and wonder why. And it's because you're in fight or flight mode. I'm speaking as somebody who did diet culture every single year, a couple of times of the year. It does not work. We know this. We hate doing it. And when you hate doing something and you constantly and consistently do it, and you know that you hate it, it's making your body imbalanced, it's making you hungry, you're not going to want to do it. That's going to make a negative connotation in your subconscious, and then your subconscious is going to make actions that make you want to eat crappier when you go back to your old lifestyle. Thank you for the follow. And so you have to overcome the challenge of you not realizing what you're doing to your body, first of all, because that's a challenge that you need to focus on and understand. You're not realizing what you're doing to your body, and so then you're wondering why it doesn't work, why diet culture does not last, why it doesn't keep you in the healthy state that they claim that it should be keeping you at. Because it's imbalancing. The habits that you have are not balanced. If you were truly seeking the health that you need and getting balance from it, then that means you would be changing your lifestyle, the habits that you have. But instead of you doing that, you're doing this momentary facade for a week or 2 or a month, and you think that this is going to keep you healthy, when in reality, all you're going to do at the end is go back to the lifestyle that you were living before. That's not healthy. And so is for somebody who went plant-based and understands the challenges of starting and the mindset around getting started. I understand where you're coming from. And so we're going to be talking about the challenges today, and we're going to understand the challenges that can come up and the things that you could be facing. And so first is you understanding that diet culture is not going to support you. We have to get away from thinking diet culture is a thing. I don't even say plant-based diet because it's not a diet. This is my life. This is a lifestyle choice that I chose to change for myself so that I could be healthy. And so since I chose that challenge, quote unquote, because so many people see it as a challenge, I see it as something for me to be able to challenge my health to be better rather than challenge myself to have a hindrance in my life. And so I want everybody else to be able to see that because it's not that difficult. It's the matter of getting in the right mindset. I don't no longer see it as a challenge or a burden or anything like that. I see it as something fun for me to be creative, for me to enjoy my lifestyle and to be able to share and embrace it with others. And so you first have to understand the importance of sustaining the lifestyle that you want. If you want to be healthier, you're going to have to change your habits. If you want to be disease-free or release the diseases that you have going on inside of your body, you have to start establishing healthier habits. And healthier habits look like you getting outside of diet culture. Diet culture will never support you. And so a lot of people worry about, okay, so if I want to eat a healthier lifestyle, if I want to develop healthier habits, I want to go plant-based, I want to go vegan. What am I going to do when I'm craving the foods that I love? And how do you get rid of the cravings? And I'm never going to be able to enjoy the food that I love. That's not true. You have to understand that everybody has cravings. I have cravings. But I feed myself the cravings through a plant-based form. You can make every single food that you love in a plant-based form. It's just a matter of knowing how. You have to understand that there is no difficulty of finding different dairy cheese alternatives so you don't have to consume dairy, milk alternatives so you don't have to consume dairy, meat alternatives so you don't have to eat meat. It's a matter of knowing how, if you want to make fried chicken, how to make the fried chicken, what to make it out of. It's a matter of knowing if you want to make a steak, what meat substitute that are good and juicy like a steak that will give you that steak feeling. What can you apply or add that you can make a meatloaf or whatever else that you love? It's the matter of you knowing how to replace the terrible ingredients with the healthy ones that you deserve. It's the matter of you understanding that just because you have a craving does not mean you're going to sit here and be like, oh, I had a craving, I can't do this anymore, I'm going to go back to the lifestyle that I was living before. No. If you are having a craving, it's a matter of you feeding the craving, but feeding it correctly. It's okay to crave sweets. It's okay for you to crave something that's savory and delicious and it has all the good seasonings that you like in a steak or whatever else. It's the matter of feeding the craving correctly. If I'm craving sweets, guess what I do? I get some blueberries, some almond butter, and I can mix it in with some different kind of seeds. And that's something I can eat throughout the day. If it's midnight and it's late, and I'm just like, I'm really craving a snack, I have graham crackers in the fridge. And not in the fridge, but in the pantry. And they're not just the graham crackers that you go and you get that have all the ingredients. They're ones that have simple, healthy ingredients in them. It's a matter of preparing and being prepared for the cravings that you have. It's a matter of you understanding that you're gonna have cravings if you're trying to live a healthier lifestyle. Even through diet culture, you still have cravings in between then, and you have cravings during that time. And you choose not to feed into them, and because you are having the end goal of, I want to lose weight, I want to go through this diet. But you don't realize the fact that if you're sitting there and you want a healthier lifestyle, diet culture is not going to support you. You need to find snacks that are healthier, that don't use all the processed sugar and brown sugar. You need to find different alternatives that are going to allow you to have that meat satisfaction without actually having meat. No Beyond Meat, no Impossible Meat. That is a no-go. We don't do that here. Those are full of chemicals. You need to know how to read your labels and read your ingredients. That's how you find the snacks that are not going to poison you. That's how you understand what vegan products, because I'm plant-based, I'm not vegan, but what vegan products are truly terrible that they are marketing into you and telling you this is the healthier way for you to go, because we're having a meat crisis and a meat shortage and all of these different shortages, and they can make you lab-grown meats and factory-made plant-based meats. That's what we're going to. It's no longer, oh, it's safe, we can eat meat, we can eat dairy. They are bringing you to the point where they're telling you we don't have enough food, quote unquote. We're not producing enough food, quote unquote. We're tired. Basically, they're tired of doing all this stuff with these animals and these crops, and they know we understand what GMOs are now. And we're getting to the point where we're getting more involved with GMOs. And so what are they going to do now? They're going to find some other way to poison us. And so what are they doing? They're ramping up production which, I mean, obviously GMOs come from canola oil and stuff like that, but they're ramping up production to have you eat this Beyond Meat, eat this Impossible Meat. And instead of you reading your labels and understanding it has the same terrible ingredients as the ones that they're pushing onto you with these GMO meats and these GMO crops that they're giving you, you're like, oh, this is a healthier alternative, because KFC now has a Beyond Chicken, right? They have Impossible Meat, Impossible Burgers at McDonald's and Burger King. So that's the healthy alternative because it doesn't have any meat, right? But no, you don't look into any of these ingredients. You don't flip the package around when you're in the frozen section and look and see that it has canola oil, it has vegetable oil, it has soy, it has all these inflammatory properties outside of just the additives and fillers like titanium dioxide, sodium phosphate, and all these other different citric acids and everything else. But when you start to flip it around and know how to read your labels and understand what different types of fillers and additives, gums, what they're doing to your body, what this citric acid is truly made from, which is black mold, you'll realize that these companies have no mission but besides to trick you to spending your money in different places in different ways. And when you figure out what they're doing in one aspect, here they come with another. It's a part of their agenda because at the end of the day, they're making millions and billions of dollars on you. They're making billions and millions of dollars. You think they're going to stop just because you found out one product is toxic? Just like I just made a video about the fact that they found arsenic in one brand of apple juice. And if you have not watched that, go watch that. And so instead of, it being, I mean, I think it was like breaking news, but it wasn't like nationwide news because it should be. It should be because it's arsenic. Instead, they told you that instead of saying, hey, you're not allowed to sit there and put arsenic in your foods and drinks, they told you that they have inorganic arsenic in their apple juice. So there's organic arsenic that we can consume. Is that what they're trying to say? Because that's what I hear. There's inorganic arsenic in that apple juice, so that's the problem. But since there's organic arsenic, it can be added in other stuff. I refuse. I absolutely refuse. No, thank you. You said lab grown meat is crazy. That's basically the same as Impossible Meat. They just don't call it that. Exactly. And you used to love Beyond Meat. I'm lucky enough to I had started doing research about our food industry and everything else before they really started ramping up production for Beyond Meat and Impossible Meat. So if I've ever eaten it, which I don't think I have, if I've ever eaten it, it probably was one time in my life. And I don't even think that I've eaten it. Like if it was, it's still to this day unknown to me that I ate it. But like literally every single time I go to a restaurant, if I'm going to a vegan spot, wherever, the first thing I'm asking is, what is this made from? Is it soy? Does it have soy? If they're asking me what my allergies are, I just tell them I'm soy. I'm not allergic to soy, but I just tell them soy. It's easier for them and it's easier for me because then they give me a soy-free menu and then I can pick from there. Because at the end of the day, when we realize the fact that these small businesses, for example, they don't want you to just be sitting here as a consumer and hating the product that you're eating but filling yourself with that, but rather they want you to keep coming there feeling the environment of love. And so if you stop buying these soy products, they'll stop making them. If you start buying more of the non-soy items or more people start asking for non-soy products, they'll stop making them, they'll stop buying them, and they'll start buying the healthier ingredients that they already have on the menu. And so it's the matter of us making small changes. If everybody makes small little changes, because everybody likes to have this little thought process of we can't all make change. There's no way that you can make change because you don't have a following. You don't have this. You're such a small person in this big old world or whatever else. Realize the fact that if everybody makes a small little change, do you realize how impactful that will be? If everybody decided today that labels themselves as vegan or plant-based or raw vegan, whatever else, decided they are not going to eat any Beyond Meat, we're not going to eat any Impossible Meat, we're not even going to address it, we're not going to sit there and promote it, do you understand how quickly they'll stop making that crap? Or they'll stop making it with all the crap in it, and it'll actually become Beyond Meat and Impossible Meat will be made from like mushrooms. It'll be made from real whole food, or they'll make something else completely. If we truly stopped, but nobody wants to stop, because at the end of the day, that's the healthier alternative, quote unquote. That's the easier option, quote unquote. But it's not the easier option when you're poisoning yourself and you're leading yourself to a long lifestyle of suffering eventually. You're leading yourself to the point where you're going to sit there and be like, I've been vegan for 20 years. How did I develop cancer? I've been vegan for 20 plus years. How in the world do I have high blood pressure and X, Y, and Z? Because you've been feeding yourself junk for so long. It's not possible for you to be healthy because you have not given yourself everything that your body needs for nutrients, and all you've done is added in toxic crap. And so we have to realize that it's okay to feel like that it's too much, but you have to educate yourself. And educating yourself on the topic and understanding how to develop the lifestyle that you want in a I'm trying to think of it in a timely manner. So this isn't a drawn out thing, because the longer you draw it out, the longer you're going to take, and then eventually you're not going to do it. But rather understanding how to do this in a short amount of time, that it makes it become subconscious thought. You don't even have to think about it anymore. Because that's what I did for myself. Once I stopped labeling myself as vegan and I just went completely plant-based and stopped eating vegan products, the switch was so quick. I tell everybody that, like, within the first 6 months, the first 3 months I was vegan. The next 3 months, I went plant-based and my lifestyle completely changed. My health changed. I saw the difference in my body. I saw the difference in my health. I stopped taking all the prescriptions that I was on. I didn't have to use a knee brace. I had no knee pain. I'm sitting here squatting now with weights and everything else. I'm able to run. And it's all because I stopped using toxic products. I started to educate myself on what these ingredients mean and learning what was going on. Yeah, you said you get meat from Allah. Okay, that's, yeah. If you're going to get meat, if you really are stuck and honed on getting meat, which there's a reason why I went plant-based. I am not worried about going to get meat. I am not that dedicated to going and finding a farmer's market and finding the farmer and then going look at their land and checking their soil tests and all this. I'm not that dedicated to it. I'm not, because there's so many different plant-based alternatives that you can make meat out of. I'm just not that. And then on top of that, like, I just don't trust people enough. I don't trust where they got their cow from. I don't trust where they got their chicken from. And on top of that, like, even though you're still going to them and they're giving you the best quality of meat, you have to understand that there are still so many health risks with meat because we overconsume meat. When you're eating meat, you're not eating a little itty bitty portion and only eating it once a week or twice a week. Majority of people are sitting there eating tons of portions of meat multiple times a day, if not at least once a day, every single day. And that's overconsumption. That's too much, because they tell us with these my plates and these food pyramids that you're supposed to eat meat with every single meal all day long. But when you see and you look at the statistics and the numbers of the people who eat meat, even when they get it from the farmer's market or a local spot or wherever else that they have quality meat, you still have to realize that there's health risks with that. And they're over consuming and abusing their ability to be able to have the meat. So it's just like, that was just the easier option for me. And for somebody who was dealing with inflammation and leading myself to having insulin resistance and all these other issues going on, it supported me in getting all of that in check and being balanced overall with my health. Now I don't have asthma like I did before. Like I said, I don't have knee pain. I'm not anxious. I'm not having panic attacks anymore because I'm getting the nutrients that I need from fruits and vegetables. Like, yes, everybody has their own journey, but me personally, I will never promote somebody to go out and go get meat because of all the risks, especially if you're eating like eggs and chicken and things like that, because eggs give you high cholesterol. It's not good for you. It's just not safe to me. It's just not safe to me. He said, and I have an autoimmune disease. The hard thing is for me is I live with other people and they give my son junk. See, and that's a boundary thing. That's definitely a boundary thing. If you don't want that and that's your child, even if you live with them, set that boundary. And if they break that boundary, then there's a consequence, X, Y, and Z. I don't know what the consequence will be. That's something that you have to set for yourself. But it's the realization that you and other people, or rather, you are going to face social pressures from other people. And that's another point that we come across that I have on my notes for challenges. And like I said at the beginning of the live, sorry y'all, I'm gonna have to keep moisturizing this. I popped a blood vessel and I don't want to start biting it because if it starts peeling, I'm gonna bite it. And so I'm gonna be moisturizing through this live. But you have to understand that there's going to be social pressures always, regardless if it's in your home, outside of your home, there's going to be social pressures. And so it's a matter of setting that boundary and understanding that, okay, here's where the confusion is lying, because obviously if somebody in your home or wherever else is still feeding your child and you have stated that you don't want them to have that, there's a confusion. So you can list it, and I say the one time. I do one, maybe twice, one and done. I'm gonna let you know what's going on. I'm gonna let you and address the issue of, this is why I don't do this. This is poisonous because X, Y, and Z. And then at that point, if you have any issues after that, and or you need any more clarification, that's fine. But you need to come to me first. Now, if you just act and do and you don't ask anything, then that's just saying that you didn't respect me. You didn't respect my boundary, and so that means now there's an action, there's a consequence, there's a problem. And so we have to understand that if you are going to address that, for instance, it's going to happen regardless if it's in your home or outside of your home, if you have children especially, and even for yourself, because there's a lot of people that, like, first of all, when I first went plant-based, like, my family was looking at me and they were like, you don't want this piece of chicken? Like, you sure you don't want this? Well, let me just go out and buy you this meal and just put it right here, and if you want it, you'll eat it, and if you don't, then you don't. And so I had already made the decision. I had already started transitioning myself to meat. And so I started to realize that, or not realize, but I started to sit there and let it ride. Just let it be. Let whatever sit there. Don't engage with it. They know the same thing, and they stopped buying it for me. They stopped trying to tempt me with it. And now it's like, yeah, it can be a joke, but like now it's not a running joke anymore. Like, that's not the thing. When they come and they look at me, they're immediately like, oh, here comes the vegan. Like, my family now, is they're used to it. They're asking me, what am I cooking today? What did I bring to have a snack for? And I tell them, and they're like, that looks good. That looks delicious. What'd you make it from? Like, they're asking me how to make plant-based dishes. They're asking me, what do I make this from? And it's all because I set the boundary of saying, like, I'm not eating that crap anymore. Like, you can eat it, but I'm not going to. You say, can I talk about insulin resistance? I think I might have it. Can you talk about it? If you need to DM me to talk about it, yeah, of course. Yeah. Stop. Go sit down. Go sit down. I don't know what my dog has found. The school lunches are trash. Yeah, that's another thing about, like, the school, like, social pressures. If you have, for instance, how you have a child, if you have a child that is in school or any type of program after school, and well, today we're going to be talking about overcoming challenges, so it won't necessarily just be like insulin resistance help, but I do have plenty of videos on my TikTok that will help you with insulin resistance. I think I have one coming out tomorrow, but I just did another video responding to some comments from a video talking about insulin resistance and diabetes. Yeah, but if you have a child that is going to school or any programs where they're going to be there extended amount of time and people are feeding them or they're going to offer them food, depending on, because my nephew and my niece learned very early on. For instance, like, I obviously, they're my nephew and my niece, I watched them grow into the little itty bitties that they still are, but before they were even really like fully aware, like they are, of what is poisonous, what's going on, how the food is toxic, they can tell you exactly what's wrong with your food, they can tell you what you need to switch to, like, literally they know front and back. And so even before then, and they didn't even really know that much information, they still would know that's candy that has toxic ingredients in it. If I eat that, that makes me sick. They knew if it has dairy in it, that makes me sick. Thanks for the follow. They knew, and it was reiterated because me and my, because she's my niece, and then obviously they're my niece and my nephew too, but my niece and me swapped around the same amount of time, same time. And so they saw, we led by example of what we're going to do, how we're going to consume, what we're going to do for ourselves if we get sick. And so they know exactly what to do. If they feel sick, if they feel like that or they know that they've eaten something they have no business eating, which they haven't done in a long time. But for instance, one of their grandmother gave them a Tootsie Roll, thought that it would be okay and they'd be perfectly fine. But then he gets home and he's sitting there going back and forth to the bathroom talking about his stomach is hurting. He didn't want to say anything about it, but then he kept going back and forth. And we were just like, why do you keep going back and forth? Like, you haven't eaten anything. And he is very aware. If I eat, I go to the bathroom. That's point blank period. They know it. If I eat, I should be going to the bathroom. And if they're not going to the bathroom, then they know that they don't get anything else to eat until they go to the bathroom, because that's the way your system's supposed to be working. You need fluids if nothing is coming out, because if you were eating something, it should be coming out. And so he's very adamant about, I ate, and I went to the bathroom, can I have a snack? Like, he's one of those kids where he's like, hey, I made the correlation. If I eat and I go to the bathroom, I can have a snack. And so once we realized that he kept going back and forth and back and forth and he didn't ask for anything, he wasn't talking about he was hungry, we were like, what's going on? Like, are you okay? Kind of situation. And he was like, and kind of went on about his business. And I don't remember if this is the same exact instance, but it's one of the instances, if it was the Tootsie Roll instance or not, but it was one of the instances he had something he had no business having. And so once he admitted that, yeah, Granny gave me this, it was kind of like, okay, did you know you weren't supposed to eat it? And he was like, yeah. And we're like, well, do you see what happens when you eat things you have no business eating? And he was like, yeah, I see it now. And so even as a child, and you don't want them to eat it and you don't want them to have to go through it, they still have to go through the trial and error just like you do. They have to learn for themselves. They're going to go through social pressures. They're going to have temptations. But to limit the temptation for them, bring them snacks. Give them alternatives for them to have. Tell the adults that are around them they cannot have meat, they cannot have dairy, they can't have candy. If it's not something I give them, they cannot have it. Same thing at lunch. If they have a lunch lady or whoever else, if there's somebody that you know that is actually a kind soul that actually cares about your child, because I don't know if they're in public school or private school, but if you find a kind soul in the chaotic environment that it is our school system, and you have the confidence that they won't sit there and just give your child any crap, try to get them to be aware of what your child is doing. Just to be like, hey, if you see them getting something or trying to buy something that they have no business buying, remind them they have snacks, remind them they have this. If they really need something, call me, whatever else. Because it's possible. It's just setting yourself up for success and understanding that if you educate yourself and you know enough, you can educate others. Once you master educating yourself and understanding what's going on with the food, and you start to lead by example, others follow suit. And so the social pressure never leaves. It's the matter of to the point where you get to mastery, where you don't even notice the social pressures anymore. And so lacking knowledge is going to be your biggest downfall. You have to understand and you have to know how to support yourself through. And so, for instance, another social pressure that you're going to have is if you are a family that gets together or you just like to go out to eat or whatever else, you're going to have to realize that you're not going to be able just to go out and go to anywhere. You're going to have to do research when it comes to the menus. You're going to have to look up what they cook their food in. And if you are lucky enough, you'll have local spots near you that are going to be able to support you in the lifestyle that you live, because I'm lucky enough to have a couple. I had a few, but they closed because of the rent and everything else. So I'm very sad about that. But I do still have a few. I had more than a few, rather. Now I have a few, because there's two locations that are three. Just kidding. I have a couple. Now that I'm thinking about it, there are 3 locations that are pretty far from me. Like 30 minutes or less, but still that's far for versus just running down the street going to McDonald's, which is on every single corner. And then there's another one that's like 15 minutes away from me. That's usually my go-to. And so it's a matter of, like I said, preparing and educating yourself on who's not going to poison you and who's not going to make you toxic when you want to eat out, when you want to enjoy, when you want to dine out. And when you are in those social situations where you have no control of what restaurant you're going to, know the sides. That's just my go-to. Know the sides. If you know that they have French fries and they don't cook it with other meats or dairy or anything like that, and they don't cook it in inflammatory oil, you can get you some French fries. And you can get you some mushrooms, some peppers. You can make yourself an own little go-to stir-fry meal situation and enjoy that and still be able to go out and dine out with your family. Sometimes you just only have a couple of sides and you're still going to be hungry after, but you got the experience of being with everybody. You could feed yourself beforehand and not eat it all. It's the matter of what you want to do. And at the end of the day, it's not like it's going to be the last meal that you possibly could have by not eating with them. You cannot eat with them and then go get you something to eat after. It's all the matter of just having the correct mindset, because I have plenty of friends that invite me that are not plant-based, that invite me out to eat, and I either eat before or I plan on getting something to eat afterwards. And I'm okay with sitting there with everybody else, just having a little drink or, drinking me some water and just socializing and enjoying the moment. Because at the end of the day, I prepared for this. I didn't just sit there and set myself up for failure and sit there and be hungry and watch everybody else eat and then hate the lifestyle, hate what I'm doing to myself. But I know that I'm supporting myself enough to the point where I can choose to not eat now and choose something healthier later on and still enjoy the place that I'm in. And so that's a challenge that's really non-existent for me, and it never has been. But I know for a lot of people that go out to eat with family and friends a lot, it could pose a problem. And so that right there trumps everything if you're prepared. And the same thing about, oh, I won't get enough nutrients, oh, I won't have enough proteins, and I'm going to be starving, and I'm going to be doing all this. If you're getting healthy amount of fats, if you are getting the appropriate amount of iron, and you are sitting there giving yourself all of the other nutrients that you need using food as your medicine, you won't be hungry all the time. If you are getting healthy fats and you are getting iron, magnesium in your food, you won't be hungry all the time. If you are hungry all the time and you're trying to transition to a plant-based lifestyle, you're not getting something, and you have to figure out what it is. Because I'm somebody who intermittent fasts every single day. I am intermittent fasting right now. It's about to be 3:30 and I have not eaten. I've only drank water. I ate a little, like a handful of sunflower seeds. I forgot about that, but I've only drank water. I do this every single day. I don't necessarily go until 3 p.m., but sometimes I can go as late as 5, 6 o'clock. Sometimes I eat at 12. It just depends. But it's a matter of the fact that I get enough nutrients that my body's not always hungry when I wake up. When people wake up and they're hungry at 7, 8 o'clock, they break their fast with coffee. And that's throwing off your gut biome. And that's also making you ill. And if you don't know this, this is another tip about insulin resistance and diabetes. Coffee, it raises your cortisol in your body. So think about when you're sitting there drinking coffee as soon as you wake up. It raises your cortisol. And your cortisol levels are directly connected to your blood sugar and that being stable. So that is leading to a lot of people being diabetic and insulin resistant, and they don't even know. And that's outside of them just adding a whole bunch of sugar and inflammatory stuff. You said that used to be, which is switched. Only people that eat for their blood type are people who eat meat and dairy. That's the only people, thanks for the follow, that's the only people that I've ever seen that eat for their blood type or meat, people that eat meat and dairy. And that's still going to make you inflamed. The eating for your blood type does not work. That has been disproven so many different times. Eating for your blood type is only for people that are stuck on eating meat and dairy, which is still going to make you inflamed, which is going to make you sick, and that's going to make you lead to diseases and illnesses. Because inflammation feeds toxins give you inflammation, and inflammation feeds diseases and illnesses. And so that's just not the way to go. Feeding yourself according to your blood type is just some way for you to feel like you're doing something different for your body and your health, but in reality you're still on the same path of diet culture. Hello, good afternoon. So yeah, where were we at? We were talking about proteins and nutrients. So yeah, you should be getting all the nutrients that you need to the point where it's like you're not hungry all the time. And if you are, you're not gaining something. Something is off. Something is imbalanced. And you have to realize that you're not alone in this journey. If you want healthier habits and you want to establish healthier habits for yourself, you're not alone on the journey. You're not sitting here having to suffer by yourself. There are plenty of help. There are plenty of tips. There's plenty of guides. There's plenty of recipes that you can learn and you can cook for yourself. I have a plant-based cookbook that is beginner friendly. It's just inspo for people that are starting out trying to learn new recipes, as well as, understanding, if they're already in the lifestyle, how versatile your foods can be for you and how you can cook different foods and mix and match. And so don't feel isolated and don't feel like it's just overwhelming and too much for you. Just understand that if you want this for yourself, you don't have to feel misunderstood. It's just a matter of going and getting the community that you need as well as the help that you need. And if you want support through that, I can work with you and I can help you with that. Just come work with me and I will support you in giving you that step-by-step walkthrough of how you can do this for yourself, and give yourself that accountability so that you are prepared, you feel good, and you know that this is going to support you, and you see that it's not as difficult as they make it seem, and just really the thought is what's making it the most difficult. And understanding that you're going to have cravings, you're going to have temptations. It's a matter of not feeding into the old habits that you have, but rather finding new ways. Finding new habits that are going to support you when you're hungry, that are going to support you when you want a snack, that are going to support you when you're having those specific cravings, so you don't go back to having meat. And so understanding that if you are dealing with food cravings right now, they're not going to go away. If you're craving sugar right now, it's not going to go away. You have to detox from processed sugar if you're having sugar cravings. First of all, that's just one thing we have to talk about. And if you want to learn about detoxing from sugar cravings and things like that, because that's what I did. The whole month of June was no sugar for me, and that didn't even included natural sugar unless it was from fruit. But by the end, I think when I hit like July, yeah, because my birthday was the 17th, so when I hit like July 1st, I think I had like my first thing of like something with honey in it, and I was like, oh my goodness, this is everything. Thanks for the follow. But yeah, if you would like that, we could even have a live about that. If you guys would enjoy a live about that, would you guys enjoy that? Would that be something that you would want to talk about, is like getting rid of like sugar cravings and understanding like how to expel your sugar cravings? I'm trying to move on to my next point before I forget. We talked about dealing with food cravings that we were talking about. Okay, so the next point that we're going to be talking about is financial concerns. A lot of people are sitting there wondering, and they're facing the challenge of, how am I going to afford this? There's no way I can buy organic fruits and vegetables. There's no way that I'd be able to support myself on a plant-based lifestyle, because not only am I going to be nutrient deficient, but I'm also going to be broke. You realize that food is going up regardless, first of all. Second of all, you probably spend more money. I don't think you know this or you realize this, but you probably spend more money than I do. You go out to eat constantly, if not every single day. Think about that. You're buying meat that's already expensive. You're sitting there buying different types of dairy that's expensive. When I buy natural, real whole foods, if you're going to buy processed foods, yes, that's going to be more expensive. But when you live the lifestyle like I do and you shop the way that I do, you buy real produce. You buy organic, but you buy real produce. And that lasts longer because you're buying it in bulk, depending on where you shop at. But I shop at like Costco, for instance. I can get a whole bag of carrots. I can get a whole thing of blueberries and different types of fruits. And I can get it all in bulk so that I have food for a couple of weeks. Versus you going and you getting a whole couple of pounds of meat and you eat that all in 1 week, and then you wonder why you're inflamed, you wonder why you're sick, you wonder why you have high blood pressure and your cortisol levels are high and all this different stuff, because that does not support you. Meat makes you inflamed, and that inflammation feeds diseases. This is the reason why people develop high blood pressure, diabetes, cancer, because it feeds disease. You're sitting there with a whole bunch of meat in your digestive tract because you're not going to the bathroom as much as you should on a regular basis. And so not only are you sitting there clogged up, but you're also feeding parasites. Thanks for the follow. Think about the fact that parasites live in meat and thrive off of meat. And so you're consuming parasites, and you're doing this on a consistent, regular basis. They're thriving in your digestive tract, making more parasites because they're producing and reproducing, and you have rotting, decaying flesh inside of your body that's not being released. That's the reason why you're ill. That's the reason why you're so inflamed. All these people are having gut issues. There's literally, I think it's gone up to like 1 billion people, or I don't, because it's definitely higher than 1 million, but I think that we've gotten to 1 billion people across the world now can identify with some type of gut related issue. It's not uncommon. I mean, it's not a separate issue. It's literally linked, because all these people have been misled of thinking that if I eat for my blood type, if I eat these different types of meats, if I eat dairy, I'm going to be healthier. If I follow the My Plates, I'm going to be healthier. If I follow the fitness gurus of them telling you to drink your raw eggs and eat it in a shot, or take these different protein supplements on top of your meats and eat all these proteins in meat form, that you're going to be healthy. They're all following the same facade, yet they're all unhealthy and ill. So what does that say? That's speaking for itself right there. You're being misled, and they're teaching you how to poison yourself not to be healthy and healing, because your body is a natural healing vessel. It's a matter of what you're doing to feed it to help it heal. And so if you want that for yourself, if you want to be able to heal, it's all about establishing healthier habits and changing. And so if you are at the space where you are ready for that, if you are ready to change, if you are ready to, if you are ready to establish the health that you deserve and what you need for yourself, then you need to come work with me. I do have a 6-week and a 12-week program. The 6-week is accelerated, but by the end of that program, whichever one you choose, will allow you to step into a plant-based lifestyle fully. You'll know exactly what you need to do. You'll be able to make your own non-chemical products. You'll be able to make your own plant-based dishes and meals, as well as just living a whole holistic lifestyle and understanding how to eat a rainbow so you are not lacking nutrients, so you're not struggling, so you're not sitting here feeling like you have these social interactions that you can't go to because you can't eat what they eat. You don't feel the pressure. You won't have to financially break the bank because you'll know how to shop correctly. You'll know how to sit there and save you some money and still buy the food that is good for you and organic. I've been living this lifestyle for almost 4 years. Literally next month, it'll be 4 years. And I will not be going back to non-plant-based eating. I will forever be plant-based because not only have I healed myself from asthma, anxiety, panic attacks, and now depression episodes, I've healed myself from the knee pain that I was having from all the inflammation. The asthma came from the inflammation. But I also am supporting myself in not being insulin resistant because I was developing symptoms of insulin resistance. I was literally on the cusp of being iron deficient. And a lot of women are. A lot of women nowadays have PCOS and fibroids and cysts. I was having painful menstrual cycles. I probably was down that road if I didn't have one. Now, I can sit here and function through my cycle. I'm perfectly fine through that time. I'm not suffering. I don't have an inhaler. I haven't had an inhaler in a couple of years. I haven't had used an inhaler since I started this lifestyle, but I haven't had an inhaler in a couple of years. I'm speaking as somebody who has healed and has allowed my body to reset itself, and I no longer crave meat. I no longer crave dairy. I crave the foods that I can make myself now that I love and I enjoy. I'm creative in that aspect, and so that plant-based cookbook will support you. But if you want the full breakdown, walkthrough, step-by-step accountability, go through this with me, you will book a one-on-one with me, or you will get into that 6-week or 12-week program. Because that program is going to support you all the way through, step by step, walk by walk. Exactly how I did it. No trial, no error. You don't have to have all these stumbling blocks and challenges that come with it. But it's all the matter of you understanding how to do this for yourself. Every single thing that I have is with Klarna Affirmer Afterpay. That cookbook is only $25. You can still get with Klarna Affirmer Afterpay. If you want to learn how to purge the poisonous ingredients in your life, that's only $11. My $11 ebook, you can get it with Klarna Affirmer Afterpay. It's not that difficult for you to get started. It's a matter of what you're going to do for yourself. And so now I'm done with my live topic. If anybody has any questions, please drop your questions down in the comments while I'm still here. I'll give you a few minutes and then we're going to hop off. So I'll give you a few minutes for questions if you have any. I didn't bite my lip. I'm doing good about not biting my lip, y'all. But I definitely need to moisturize it because I do not, like I popped a blood vessel. I was really going to town scrubbing my lips and I did not mean to do that, but I did. I don't know why you came in here if you don't want to be in here. My dog, she comes in here and then she doesn't want to be here anymore. No questions? I'm not seeing any questions. Do you guys have any questions? You have any questions about plant-based living, plant-based eating, overcoming challenges? What challenges have you faced if you are on a healthy lifestyle journey already? Drop them down in the comments now while you have me. And if you think of any questions that you have later on and I'm off live and you're just like, I need to ask this, you can always DM me. My DMs are always open. All of my past lives are posted on YouTube, if you do not know, so go subscribe to my YouTube. And if you don't want to miss any lives and you feel like that you are going to miss a live, you can go on ahead and sign up for my email list. I lost my train of thought. You can get on my email list and that will support you. I'm not seeing any questions, so I guess I'm going to hop off. Oh, I guess I'm going to hop off. I'm not seeing any questions. Drop y'all's questions if you have any. What questions do you have? What questions do you guys have? I did not know you could slide it over and you can see the comments better. What questions do you guys have? Drop them down while I'm still here. That's interesting. I did not know it was a thing. I don't know why my dog is sitting here. She's so goofy. Okay, well, I'm not seeing any questions, so I guess I'm going to hop off, guys. I hope this live has supported you. I hope that everybody has an amazing rest of their day. Plant-based new protein ideas. What kind of proteins do you eat now since you're plant-based? Like, you're plant-based or you're vegan? Like, what is your lifestyle? Like, what do you eat? My eyebrows just stressed me out, y'all. I wasn't stressed out by that question. I was just stressed out by my eyebrows and the way they were looking. I know I need to do them. Like, I like them thicker. Like, they're cute thicker, but they've gotten a little too thick for my liking. I want them a little bit thinner, and I just keep forgetting to do them. Like, is anybody else like that, where they just, like, let them grow for a while, and then they forget, and then, like, it becomes a non-existent thought. And then they grow even more, and then you're like, that's what they look like. You're more vegan but eat veggies. Well, I was like, I'm plant-based, so yeah, I don't really use vegan products or anything. I don't use any powders, supplements, tinctures, none of, I mean, like, I'll use a tincture, I'll use some herbs, but that's just because I've balanced my lifestyle where I use food as my medicine, so I don't even really have to use that often. Like, I'll drink me a tea around my cycle time because my dog, I'll drink my tea around my cycle time because that helps me, you know, during that time, calm my body and calm everything inside. But like, far as like supplements, powders, and I don't have to take any of that, and I don't, because I use food as my medicine. I literally get all the nutrients that I need by just like eating a rainbow. Use the vegan me. I'm gonna do this. Okay, so you're new. How long have you been trying to go vegan or plant-based, whichever one you're gonna call yourself, because everybody uses them interchangeably, but I call myself plant-based just because I don't eat vegan products. But yeah, we don't do vegan meat around here, for sure. But I don't know how long ago that video is, so I can't even be like, oh, I have a video to tell you, because that video is probably deep down in there about a year. But I mess up sometimes. You mess up with meat or dairy, or but I do have a video. I don't know how far down it is, so I can't even be like, oh, go check it out, because I don't want to miss anything. I'm trying to think of all like some ones that I can give you since you're starting off. And I do, if you are really like looking for recipes, my plant-based cookbook is beginner friendly, so I think that really will support you with like inspo, because they're mix and match. Like, you can mix them with whatever, you can change it, you can swap it up, the taste, the seasonings and stuff like that, as well as the meat proteins that they have there. There's that I have in there, there's interchangeably. But like, a lot of things that I use, I eat a lot of chickpeas. Like, I literally have some chickpeas in the air fryer that just finished that I'm going to eat now. So I eat a lot of chickpeas. Quinoa are good with protein as well. You just have to know how to cook the quinoa to make it fluffy and it actually tastes good. And so I put how I cook my quinoa and how I like it in there. And then like a bonus, because I don't know if I put this in there or not, but like, if I'm feeling like a little spicy with my quinoa, you know, where I'm like, I want to add a little something, I'll put balsamic in it, and it's super good. I'm trying to think. What did I say? I said chickpeas, quinoa, mushrooms. Mushrooms are good. There's so many different variety of mushrooms, and like, since there's such different variety of types, you can use that for different things. Like, you can make steaks from it, you can make chicken from it, you can make pulled pork, like different things like that. Like, I love making barbecue sandwiches out of my oyster mushrooms, and so I haven't done that in a while, and I think I have some in the freezer, so that just made me like remind me that I want that for myself, and I need to make it very soon. So it's just a matter of knowing. Yeah, I love lion's mane. I tried that recently, a couple of months ago, for the first time of me cooking it by myself, and I made some steaks. It was super good. But those are like my main proteins that I eat a lot of. But you can get protein from a lot of different a lot of different vegetables that people don't even like, they sleep on, like lentils, for instance, legumes, beans. Those are proteins too. And so, oh, you're so welcome. Like I said, just let me know if you have any questions, and if you are struggling, or if you're looking for inspiration for recipes and to cook things. And I do have a plant-based cookbook that is linked in my bio that will support you. And if you have any questions, you can always DM me. And all of my ebooks, products, services, and everything, you get it with Klarna, Affirm, or Afterpay. So if you need any assistance, it's right there for you. Thanks for the gifts. But I want everybody to understand that this lifestyle is not hard. I'm not gatekeeping. I'm showing you how to do it for yourself. I want you to know how to do it. I did it for myself. The education is out there. But as far as me laying it out, how to do it step by step by step, you have that for you to go out and get it and to get that research. But a lot of people are too lazy to even go do that. So it's like, yeah, yeah, I'm going to have things that you can pay for, and I'm going to get that research. But a lot of people are too lazy to even go do that. So it's like, yeah, yeah, I'm going to have things that you can pay for, and I'm going to have plenty of free content. I do have plenty of free content. I post all my lives on YouTube, all of the stuff that I post on TikTok that you could scroll through and get yourself set up and started and ready. But so many people are too lazy to even start. So it's the matter of, what do you want? That's just really what it is. What do you want? What are you thriving for? I mean, what are you striving for? Because that's what you got to do. You got to set that goal. What do you want? Thanks to these gifts. Like, a lot of people come into diets and things like that just thinking, I want to lose weight. I'm tired of being this weight and I'm tired of looking this way. But they don't think about the fact that, do you want to be healthier? Do you want to swap your lifestyle? Do you want to change that for yourself? Do you want to be healthier? Do you want, to not be insulin resistant? Do you not want to develop diabetes? Goodness gracious, my dog. Go sit down. Like, it's all the matter of what do you want for yourself. I appreciate all these gifts. Thank you. My dog, she's such a clinger. She's so clingy. And even if you try to get her to like go away, like you give her a little nudge to be like, go, she still takes that as an invitation. I don't know what to say. My dog's a little loony. But I'm not seeing any more questions. So, and by the way, for the people that have just now tuning in and seeing me, I popped a blood vessel on my lip. I'm sorry. I was scraping a little too hard while I was scrubbing my lips and I popped a blood vessel. I don't know what to say about that, but I'm trying to keep it from scabbing because I will pick at the scab and that'll make it worse. So I'm not seeing any more questions. I guess I'm gonna hop off of here. I hope this has supported you. Join me live again. I don't think I'll be live. What's tomorrow? Tomorrow Wednesday? Tomorrow's Wednesday, right? Yeah, tomorrow's Wednesday. I don't know if I'll be live tomorrow, but for sure I'll be live on Friday. If you want to know when I go live so you don't miss the notification, because I know a lot of people don't have their TikTok notifications on, you can sign up for my email list so you don't miss when I go live and you know when I'm on. I send out an email before. You get my Wellness Woman Wednesday. Even you don't have to be a woman to be in there, but I have a lot of women, so it's called Wellness Woman Wednesday. Get over it. And it's gonna give you all the tips and like information that I know when I'm finding out real time of what's going on with our industry and what's going on with our food. And so that's something that you need to tap into. And you get a free gift when you sign up. So I hope that this live has supported you, and I hope that you have an amazing rest of your day. I'm gonna go get these chickpeas. I'm hungry, and I think I'm gonna get some hummus too. So